Cuchulain was an Irish legend during the 1st century. He was the center character in a series about the heroes of the Ulster Kingdom called the Ulster Cycle. He has many different pronunciations and spellings such as cuchulain, cuchulain, and cuchulain. His hair has 3 different colors throughout, and on each side of his face he has 4 moles. He also has multiple eyes. He is often compared to the Greek hero Achilles. He has both mortal and immortal parents. He is known to bring fear to his enemies and has unbelievable courage. Cuchulain's birth name was Santanta. King Conor, who was Santanta's uncle, was invited to a banquet at a blacksmith's house, Cuchulain. The uncle asked Santanta to go with him to the dinner. Santanta was playing a game of hurling, his favorite game as a boy, and said he would follow after. Thinking all the guests were seated at the dinner, the king started, and Cuchulain unchained the hound that guards the house, forgetting about Santanta. As Santanta approached the house, the dog began to attack him. Santanta only had on him his hurling stick and a ball, but used them to his advantage. He threw the ball down the hound's throat, and the dog fell to the ground. Santanta then grabbed the hound's leg and smashed its head onto the stone ground. When King Conor heard the gruesome noises outside, he ran outside remembering about Santanta, thinking he was torn to pieces. However, they found Santanta without a scratch, hovering over the dead hound. The blacksmith was troubled at the sight. Even though the dog attacked Santanta, Santanta offered to take the place of the hound and protect the pass into Ulster. He then became the Hound of Cuchulain and was renamed Cuchulain.
There are many legends about Cuchulain. The most famous and commonly known story is the Cattle Radle Cooley. The story starts off with the birth of 2 immortal bulls. The first bull was the Whitehorn Bull of Connaught and was owned by Meb, the Queen of Connaught, a province in what is now northwest Ireland. The second immortal bull was the Brown Bull of Ulster. One day, Queen Meb thought she should have both bulls and set out on a conquest to capture the Brown Bull of Ulster. Because Ulster would not give up the Brown Bull, Connaught and Ulster went to war. Ulster was at a huge disadvantage because all of their warriors were under the curse of the goddess Macha. This curse gave them labor pains at random times throughout the year and made them unable to fight during this period. However, Cuchulain was not affected by this curse because of his divine heritage. Because of this, he thought it was his duty to defend Ulster from Connacht single-handedly. This was possible because of the Celtic method of single combat, where a warrior from one side would fight another warrior from the other side. This allowed Cuchulain to fight the Connacht army one at a time, and he slayed every challenger with ease. Queen Meb became impressed with Cuchulain, saying he is the best champion she has ever seen, and asked him to join her side and said they could rule together. Cuchulain refused and continued to fight for Ulster. Although Cuchulain won every duel, Queen Meb managed to sneak in and steal the Brown Bull of Ulster. When they arrived back at Connacht, the Brown Bull challenged the Whitehorn Bull to a duel. The story ends with the Brown Bull killing the Whitehorn Bull and returning back to Ulster.
Cuchulain, also known as Cuchulain, is important in Ireland for many reasons, one of these being that he is an inspirational figure. Similar to how Achilles is seen in the Greek mythology, Cuchulain is a masterful being in Ireland. Known for being extremely good looking and having superhuman abilities, his tales are entertaining to anyone who enjoys a good story. Children look up to him, women love him, and men want to be him, and even though this beast of a man has been dead for centuries, today he is still arguably the most important figure in Irish mythological history. His death was even a majestic one. His sole weakness was his inability to deny a meal and to eat dog meat because he felt guilty for slaying the Hound of Cuchulain. Knowing this, the sons of the men Cuchulain has slain over the years conspired together to use these weaknesses against him. Feeding him a bad meal before a big fight against Lugaid, a High King of Ireland, Cuchulain was weakened severely. After he was mortally wounded, he tied himself to a stone pillar as to die standing like a true hero would. Even after he had died, his enemies did not believe it until a raven flew to his body, a symbol of death at the time, at which point Lugaid went to cut off his head. Upon doing this, Cuchulain's sword fell from his hand, cutting off Lugaid's hand. The stone pillar that he supposedly died against is currently identified as the one still standing in Knockbridge, County Louth, Southern Ireland.